Looks like I found myself in some kind of ancient civilization. Look at all those buildings. These ruins led to this crazy area, and I've been exploring it ever since. Anyways, welcome to the smallest set in the Neo era. And this set is almost tied with Jungle in terms of how many cards are in it. Welcome to Neo Revelation. This set introduced something revolutionary to the future of the TCG, and even being a small set of only 64 cards, this set features 14 holographic cards, and while it repeats Pokemon, it doesn't repeat the same artworks, which I think is a really good thing. Anyways, this set was released on September 21st of 2001, and the artworks in this small little set are absolutely immaculate. Now, let's move on to the artists, and we have a lot to cover. Let's start off first with a new artist. As I saved all the new ones until the end of the last video, let's start off with Toshinao Aoki. Aoki worked on the Ampharos holographic card and the Flaffy in this set. I really like this style a lot. I know it's kind of simplistic, but it's not as simplistic as Miki Tanaka. But I really like how the cards look. The Ampharos, which is looking back with big plain old eyes and its glowing tail is showing. I like the Flaffy as it looks up towards the camera with its glowing blue tail. And I like the shading and the little baby eyes. For only having two cards, Aoki has a strong start for Neo Revelation, so I'm happy to see them starting in this set. Next, let's talk about Yukamori, who illustrated four cards for the set, being the Blissey Hollow, Goldeen, Quagsire, and the Shuckle. I like the Blissey Hollow. It's centered right in the middle, and the egg looks very shiny, and its smile is cute. The Goldeen is outside of the water, looking almost sad, but the water effects in the waterfall in the background are quite cool. I like the Quagsire looking flat and smiling straight forward. The Shuckle looks upward on the beach, with water, rocks, trees, and a hill in the background, which I thought was really cool. Overall, I would say that Yukamori's style is really developing, and I'm happy to see them making more cards for the TCG. Hironobu Yoshida worked on two cards in this set, being the Celebi Hollow and the Murkrow non-hollow card. The Celebi Hollow is really amazing. It looks upwards with some sort of planet or moon in the background, with bright ribbons around it, and its arms are extended. This is the first appearance of Celebi in the TCG, and I'm really happy that this is the first card that Celebi is featured in. The Murkrow is equally nice, with feathers in the foreground and the Murkrow all sprawled out with its mouth wide open, and the moon in the background with visible craters, with trees on the bottom of the card. These two cards make a big difference in this set, and it's really cool to see Hironobu working on these gorgeous cards for the sets. I'm always happy to see their name. Shinichi Yoshida worked on three cards for Neo Revelation, being the Crobat, Aerodactyl, and the Cargo. Cool to see Yoshida was the first person to illustrate a Crobat card, and this one is super cool. I like the moon in the background, and the Crobat looks either really upset or is just pretty determined, with its wings sprawling out, and the fog surrounding the Crobat. The Aerodactyl is awesome. First of all, you can see hills in the background, as well as clouds in the sun. But the Aerodactyl is striking, with its neck bent almost at a 90-degree angle, with its arms and wings spread wide out, and its tail swinging behind it. And the Magcargo is really funny looking forward on top of a mountain. And it could even probably be looking at the Aerodactyl, possibly. Overall, I'm happy to see Yoshida making more cards for this set, even if it was only three. Kimiya Masago only illustrated one card in the set, but it's a pretty big one, being the Ho-Oh hollow from the set, which is absolutely stunning. The wings blend in with the swirls all around the card, making it look like it's coming out of the card almost. I really like this one a lot. I like the little chicken feet going out towards the camera, and I just really think this card is interesting. It's a desirable Pokemon being Ho-Oh, and it's also a pretty popular Pokemon. But I'm also just happy to see it in a set. Kamiya is a really talented artist who I'm excited to see more of. Our next artist is Yukiko Baba, who illustrated three more cards for Neo Revelation: the Stantler, Graveler, and the Zubat. I like the Stantler a lot. I like how it sits in the middle with the little hills in the background and a purple sky in the back with some trees on the side. I like the Zubat, where there are two of them, in the middle with some parting clouds and the moon in the back. And I also like the Graveler, as the red rocks surround it. I like his little smirk and little white outline is pretty cool as well. Overall, Yukiko Baba is a really talented artist who creates some really unique cards, and it's good that they returned after Neo Discovery. Miki Tanaka illustrated four cards in Neo Revelation. Those cards are the Remoraid, Swinub, Farfetch'd, and the Sea King. I like the Sea King with a bunch of little Sea Kings outlined in the background with some blue. It's pretty cool. I like the Farfetch with all the leaks on the ground with the little shadows behind them, and I like the Remoraid shooting out water with other little Remoraids around it. The Swinub is cute too, nearby a log and a tree looking upwards. Overall, these might be my favorite Tanaka cards so far, and I enjoy the colors and simplistic beauty of them, but we will definitely be seeing more of them in the future. Our next artist is Atsuko Nishida. 4 cards are illustrated by them in this set. Nishida worked on the Parasect, Pillow-Swine, Chinchou, and the Smoochum. I like the Parasect. It's below some sort of tree where leaves fall above it, and seeing the cute little Parasect eyes looking forward is something that I do like. The Pillow-Swine is cute because they have a little squad as they stand on a field. And I like the Chinchou. It's just a cute rendition of the Pokemon where its little lights are dangling down above its head as it swims with the sun peeking through the water. The Smoochum looks to be sleeping in some sort of bed just looking into the camera, which is interesting. Overall, the Nishida cards in Neo Revelation are cute, and they fill that void that we haven't seen so far in all the previous artists, so it's good that Nishida is here. Our next artist is Ai Kusube, who worked on 3 of my absolute favorite cards in the whole set, being the Skarmory, Lugia, and Ho-Oh non-holo, which all connect into one large card, with the Ho-Oh in the center. The full artwork looks absolutely gorgeous, and it's really cool to see that Kusube got to work on some of the coolest Pokemon in Generation 2. Seeing this full artwork tells me everything I need to know about why Kusube worked on the set. The line work on the cards, the shading, and just the way that Kusube draws are so stylistic and wonderful to look at. I know that I'm making it seem like Kusube is the best artist in the whole world, but I really do like their cards a lot, and things like this are the reason why. Naoyo Kimura is back to illustrate 3 more cards for Neo Revelation, and the 3 that they got are all phenomenal. The Entei, Raikou, Suicune non-holo cards, and they are absolutely gorgeous, and they do all connect to make one complete artwork, just like the ones from Ayakusube. The full artwork is truly amazing. I really love when artists make one big card featuring multiple Pokemon. I think that's such a cool idea. But even individually, all of these cards are amazing. My favorite is probably the Suicune. I just always like how slim Suicune is, and they always make it look so elegant in many of the cards it's featured in. But these cards are all 3 amazing artworks by Kimura, so I'm absolutely applauding them for being so talented, even still so early into the TCG. For Kimura, they've only illustrated a handful of cards before this, so it's crazy to see how this proficiency in artwork is displayed. Our next artist is Tomokazu Kamiya, who returns to produce 4 new cards for Neo Revelation. The Delibird Hollow is silly. It looks like it's climbing up a hill as the world scrapes around it. The Jinx is cool, with it being inside of a house as it looks outwards from a window to show the clouds and the moon. The Octillery is 1 card that I personally have, and I like the huge water cannon that is shooting out of its mouth, as well as the water that surrounds it. The Snubbull card is cute too, as it looks up with the Butterfrees above it, with some little flowers on the ground. Overall, the Kamiya artwork is always so special, and I'm always happy to see their name while reviewing a set, which is good. Speaking of artists I'm always happy to see the name of, Mitsuhiro Rito worked on 4 cards for Neo Revolution, one of them being one of my absolute favorite cards in the whole set, being the Houndoom Holo card. As it howls most likely at the moon, this card is just gorgeous. From the purpley reds in the background to Houndoom's swinging tail, this card is really a work of art. The Kingdra is really cool, as it blows bubbles and water towards the camera, with whirlpools and water sprawling behind it. The Skiploom is actually kinda cool, with it looking upwards producing some kind of light as a full rainbow arc behind it, and the Staryu sits at the bottom of the ocean as the little light illuminates the area with a fuzzy, bright light. The Arita cards in this set are distinct, as always, but I'm always super happy to see Arita illustrating a holographic card, so it was a good surprise to see that he worked on one of my favorite cards in the whole set. Another artist that I'm happy to see is one Kagemaru Himeno, who worked on 4 cards for Neo Revelation, being the Jumpluff Holo card, the Lantern, Paris, and the Slugma. I really like the Jumpluff Hollow. There's something so funny about seeing a bunch of Jumpluff just surrounding around a snowman that I assume that they created, which is such a random idea, but I'm happy that Himeno went with it, because the card is super cute and really awesome. The lantern is cool too. It's like a pack of lantern with all their lights illuminated, and there are many, many yellow lights in the background, of which we can only assume are even more lanterns. It makes the foreground and the background interesting, and makes you think a little bit more when you see a card like this. The Paris is cute, as you can see it shaking a mushroom, and it looks like it's glowing up the cave that the Paris is in. And you can see the light reflecting off the Paris itself, which makes it look even cuter than it usually does, which is usually not super cute, funnily enough. I like the Slugma, because it looks like it's traversing through some sort of volcanic area where steam rises around it. And I kinda like it, because it shows how Slugma traverses the world that it resides in. Finally! My prayers have been answered, as not only does Keiji Kinabuchi return and illustrate 5 cards in this set, they have also returned with a new actual Pokemon card, and this one is a holo. It's the Porygon 2, which is awesome. I like how it's looking upwards, and it kind of looks like it's in some kind of ruins. The balloon berry is a bearing falling down from the sky, and I assume that it's staying still, but let's move on to the healing field, which is a little Pokeball logo in some kind of forest, with a mountain faintly in the background. Not super flashy, but I like that perspective. Then there's the Rocket's hideout, which has the Team Rocket logo, but also little Gengar chilling on the side. This one looks pretty goofy, but it is illuminated by the Rocket's logo to make it look a little bit more menacing. And then there's the Old Rod, which just simply sits down on some kind of bridge next to the water. I know that these cards may not be super appealing to the average person, as they are just simple 3D artworks, but for somebody who likes Kenibuchi's simple 3D art style, this makes me happy. Sumiyoshi Kizuki returns again from Neo Discovery, and I think once again they stick the landing. There are 5 cards by Kizuki in this set: the Celebi non-holo, Sneasel, Sudowoodo, Apom, and the Quillfish. The Quillfish is the only one this time that features no outlines, but the card is cool, with circular colors and flowing water around the card with some little dust lines. But the Apom hangs off of a tree during autumn, which makes the leaves all brown, green, and yellow. The Sudowoodo looks to be about to explore some kind of cave, and the Sneasel is standing somewhere. I can't really tell where it's standing, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. But the Celebi non-holo seems to be floating in front of some kind of giant moon, with its arms widespread. I really like the fact that Kizuki has 2 distinctive styles that are really unique, and I like the cards that they did for this set. Enough said. Now it's time for a new artist to the set, being Masako Yamashita, who worked on 3 cards for the set, being the Geodude, Golbat, and the Raichu. For some first cards, they are certainly interesting. I do like the Golbat because of the different colored clouds in the sky with it flapping its wings going through the sky. The Raichu is kinda neat, 'cause the bolts of electricity going off of it are kinda cool, and the Geodude seems to be just done with busting through a boulder. I can't really see a definitive style at the moment, but I like the ideas of these cards, with 2 of them being very action heavy, and one being pretty simple and flying through the sky. So I hope to see more of Yamashita. This time, in Neo Revelation, CRCG Gangs only worked on 5 cards for this set, with only 2 of them being collaborations with other artists, and 3 being done by the actual CRCG Gangs. So let's talk about the collaboration ones first. Big Mama Tagawa is back once again, with 1 card illustrated, being the Magneton holographic in the set. I think this Magneton is better than the Magnemite that we got in Neo Discovery, because of the darker colors, along with the electricity coming off of it. It just gives me far more interesting vibes than the Magnemite holo card. So good job on Mama Tagawa, and like to say this for the other artists I don't have much to talk about. I hope to see more of them in the future. Keita Komatsuya is an artist who only did 1 card for the set, being the Starmie, which seems to be shooting out some kind of psychic water attack that blasts out of its face, and the background is a blue and purple gradient. I kinda like this 3D card by Komatsuya, but unfortunately, this is the only card that Komatsuya ever illustrated, and I think this is the first artist that I've reviewed that only has 1 card, other than Tomoaki Imakuni and the Porygon from base set, but I think we might see them again. But for Komatsuya, unfortunately, this is the only card that they ever did. But for their only card, this Starmie isn't even that bad of a 3D card, so at least they're leaving on a high note. Now, CRCG Gangs illustrated 3 cards, being the unknown cards: Unknown B, Unknown Y, and Unknown K. I think my favorite is definitely the Unknown Y. I have no idea why, but this guy looking like he's literally just walking as his ginormous head follows slowly behind him, which is like the best idea ever for as silly as a Pokemon as Unknown Y is. So I'm really happy about that card. And the Unknown Bee kind of looks like a little bird with a pack of other little tiny Unknown Bee birds. CRCG Gangs doesn't really have a lot to talk about in this set, but that's okay because the cards that they did do are at least funny, if nothing else, and I think that that is a good thing in most cases. Okay, I've been holding off on this one artist in particular, and it's one I've held back before too, but this time I'm doing a complete 180 on all of my previous talk about this artist. This artist can illustrate as many default renders as they want if this quality of cards ever continues in the future, which it definitely might. Anyways, Ken Sugimori illustrated 7 cards in Neo Revelation, being the Entei Hollow, Misdreavus, Raikou, and Suicune holo cards, and the Pokemon Breeder Fields. Let's talk about the Entei holo. The imposing figure of Entei looking down onto the camera is a sight to behold. It looks so menacing and judgmental at the same time. The posing and the camera really sells this one, and I really like it. The Mischievous is kinda simple, but it's not bad, with it looking forward and a little dress flowing in the wind. But the Raikou is amazing, with it laying down in some kind of field, just relaxing. It's awesome to see a legendary Pokemon like this being so docile. And the Suicune is amazing too, with it looking straight forward and its ribbons flowing in different directions. The Pokemon Breeder Fields is actually super cute too, with multiple Pokemon being in the actual card, like Dragonite and some Floras. This trainer is super cute and I quite like it a lot. But wait, I thought Sugimori did 7 cards for this set, not 5. Oh, wait. This set also has 2 secret rare cards, and it is the introduction of one of the most iconic features in the Pokemon games, one that will play a substantial role in all future Pokemon titles and even some more TCG sets. These are shiny Pokemon. With a measly 1 in 8,192 chance at the time of this set releasing, these are alternate versions of regular Pokemon with palette swaps. The shining Magikarp can be seen swimming with other Magikarp, but its pure golden hue sparkles brightly, as it stands out like a sore thumb. But the shining Gyarados is awesome. It can be seen parting the clouds above it in multiple waves, as well as crashing the waves everywhere. And the dark red Gyarados looks menacing with its glowing red eyes, as the fisherman or sailor can be seen visibly shook at the sight of the beast. This card is awesome, and for an intro to shiny Pokemon, it does a phenomenal job, showing off what they could and can be. Overall, Neo Revelation is a phenomenal set, even though it's kinda small. But even though it is kind of small, it packs a serious punch. There's so much to talk about, so many different special artists that all culminate to make this iconic set really what it is today. And I am happy that I was able to cover it. I really gotta get out of this ancient town though. I'm starting to feel a cursed presence guarding the area, so I think I'll catch you next time. Hopefully I can find some safety. For my favorite cards in Neo Revelation, I think I'm just gonna have to pick the Shining Gyarados, but also the Celebi, Houndoom, Ho-Oh, Crobat, and Jumpluff holo cards, as well as the Lugia, Suicune, Remoraid, and Aerodactyl non-holo cards. This set is nothing short of a work of art. There's so much to love in this set, and this still isn't even the final set in the Neo era. The final set is our next set, which is Neo Destiny. Join me next time to help me find somewhere safe. Thanks for watching. Bye now.